We got to talk about this. What is all this talk about an open marriage? What is all this talk about an open marriage? I know that we have religions out there where men have more than one wife. Now, that's within a religion, a community, a structure that they've created that everyone's aware of. But what is this about an open marriage? I'm seeing this a lot, that men are asking women to have open marriages, because open marriage means open. It means you see somebody, I see somebody. Maybe we have some rules around that. But you know what's crazy about this is that we can't determine where the heart's going to go. And I want to say something. This is for my men out there that are asking, or maybe for my ladies too. When you're asking your husband or he's asking you for an open marriage, are you ready to watch him fall in love with somebody else? Are you ready to watch him literally touch somebody else? I don't want to get too graphic here. That's what it is. I just saw a story online. I'm going to read you one here that I found on Reddit about someone that wants an open marriage. I was on YouTube and I was scrolling, of course, doom scrolling, because that's what I do. Because sometimes I look for content to come talk to you about, so we can all see what's going on out here and understand what's going on out here and the effects of the decisions that we make. Listen, ladies, we are in our 40s now. And yes, we want autonomy. But if you're in a relationship with someone, there's autonomy, but you're still together and you have feelings. I'm sorry. I am sorry. I am not about to watch my husband touch another woman. He can keep it moving if that's the case. And that's what happened in this situation. He asked his wife and his wife said no, but he had someone at work that, or some friend, some woman that he wanted to cheat with, and he told his friend about it. And his friend said, hey man, like, you might want to reconsider. And he's like, no, I'm gonna ask her for an open marriage. So see, probably when he's asking you for an open marriage, he's probably thinking, you're not going to find anybody. But the person that initiates the open marriage or asks about it has already considered who they want to open the marriage up to. The other person, the third party in your marriage. They already know who the third party is going to be in the marriage. I think for the most part, anyone that's been in a third party situation like this, open marriage, let me know if I'm wrong. And let me know how it worked out for you, because it seems a lot of times these marriages are ending in divorce. There's emotions involved. There's expectations, right? Boundaries are broken. But anyway, back to my story about this young man. Went to his wife, requested, she said no. Went to his wife. He did about 4 times. Went to his wife. Finally, she was like, okay, fine. Okay. So he went on and he's like, okay, well, I cleared it with her. It's all good, right? I'm not cheating. It's an open marriage. Went on to have his affair with some woman that he worked with. Meanwhile, his wife found somebody that was flying her all over the place. Like during whatever boundaries they set, they had days or weekends, I don't know, where they would open up the marriage and do their thing and then come back together. Crazy. In my mind, crazy. I don't think even in the communities and in cultures where men have multiple wives, I think it works a little bit differently than that. But anyway, they were on their own, like doing their thing, and she found somebody. And she fell in love. Now, ironically, the person who asked for the open marriage, the man, her husband, decided things weren't working out anymore with the girl. And then he said, no, I want to close it. And she was like, no, this marriage is open. Guess what? She was already in love with this other guy. They eventually got divorced and she went and married this other guy. Now, be careful what you ask for. We're in our 40s, and I think this is a subject that I wanted to bring up because I feel like maybe this happens more often than we think. I've never been in an open marriage. I don't ever intend to be in an open marriage. I trust my husband. Shit happens. If shit happens in your marriage, sometimes you work things out. But as far as just opening up the marriage to allow somebody else's feelings, wants, and needs to be fulfilled within my marriage, I'm not willing to do that. And I couldn't imagine that my husband would be willing to open up the marriage and allow me to have some other man fulfill my wants and needs. I just don't see it. But I think when people are like, again, I'm going to go back and say that when people are asking for this, they've already considered, they've already been emotionally hooked into a third party situation. And now they just, either they want to bring it to light and get approval, right? So this open marriage bullshit is a good way to bring that up and get the other person to kind of agree, even if it's against their will, because it's for the good of the marriage. And I'm sure maybe for some of you out there who are doing this, it works. So this is not shaming anyone at all. Like, if it works for you, it works for you. That's your business, not my business. But what I have to say is that I think that for a lot of people that get involved into this do not quite understand what they're getting into. So let's get going. Let me read this and you tell me what you think. So just reading this title here, Am I the Asshole? My wife wanted to open our marriage, but now she regrets it. I'm gonna say, almost like I said before, almost 100%, this woman probably had somebody in mind. And now it's not working out. I haven't read it yet, but we're gonna read it together. I could be wrong. I could be very wrong, but I'm going to guess that there was somebody else already involved when she made this request. Hello all, I'm writing today because I need to know if I'm wrong here. So my wife and I have been married for 6 months. Look, they were married for 6 months and they opened up the marriage, and things have slowed down considerably since we've been married. Let me stop here. I think I'm gonna have to make another video because I think that many of us live in this fantasy world of the Disney world of marriage sometimes, and we expect that everything that went on in the first 2 or 3 years when we were courting to be it. Yeah, when you settle down, things can get a little bit boring, like you go into regular life. But anyway, I digress. Let's go back to this. The early part of our marriage was good. Early part of our marriage, 6 months. Like, what is, guys, please, this is the early part of your marriage where you're settling in. I don't get it that you're married for 6 months and already saying the early part of the marriage. I don't get it. Somebody help. Anyway, again, I digress. I haven't read this. We are reading this together. The early part of our marriage was good, but over time she became distant. Didn't want to go on dates or have together time anymore, if you know what I mean. If she didn't, you men out there, she didn't want to have together time. What are you thinking 6 months into your marriage and your wife doesn't want to have together time? What are you thinking? Yeah, she's got somebody else. And you know, ladies, I'm not, this goes both ways. But that's not normal. It doesn't seem. I'm sure, yeah, not normal. I recently confronted her about the lack of romance and her overall coldness. She told me that she just wasn't interested in me anymore, and the novelty of the marriage has worn off. What is, like, marriage is a novelty now? Like, it's not a commitment anymore? Maybe that's where we're going wrong. Maybe that's why there's so many divorces. What is the expectation in marriage these days? That you're just gonna have together time 3 times a day? Like, when do you pay the bills? When do you do the other things? And I'm not saying that together time is not important, but come on. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I was devastated to hear this, but I asked if there was something I could do to help make things interesting for her again. She said that perhaps opening up our marriage could bring back the spark. She admitted to messaging a guy on WhatsApp. Didn't I say she had somebody else? I said she had somebody else. That's why it got kind of cold in the bedroom. Listen, and she said that maybe if she was with him too, it might make her feel better. Oh, I bet it would. Look, how many of you out there are going for this? Now, I know you got married, you want to do whatever makes your spouse feel good, but listen, let me keep going. Drop some comments. Let me know what you're thinking already. And we're not even halfway through. I reluctantly agreed to save my marriage. It's now been a few months since we decided to open our marriage, and things have been going well for me. So now things are going. Oh, ain't that some crap? So she requested the open marriage, and now things are going well for him, he says. I just have to laugh because I'm telling you, be careful what you wish for and be careful what you agree to out there. All right, so you see, I'm a lumberjack. So I advertise on Tinder and Craigslist. Look, I am thinking brawny paper towel lumberjack. I'm gonna have to look that up, and there will be a picture here of the brawny paper towel guy. I think Mike's Hard Lemonade also has a lumberjack in their commercial. But hey, I don't know. I'm thinking lumberjack buff because you know what? It's a lumberjack. Like he's got muscle, right? All right, let's go. I'm already seeing where this is going. Are you seeing where this is going? Okay, so he advertised on Tinder and Craigslist that I would chop down trees in women's yards and build them outhouses and cabins in exchange for dates. What? OMG. So listen, be careful what you ask for, ladies. He advertised that he's a lumberjack. He's gonna come chop wood in your yard. I don't know. There's gonna be all kind of wood flying. But anyway, let's keep going. This is getting hot already. This is hot and steamy. And build them outhouses and cabins in exchange for dates. This has led my business to grow and my romantic life to flourish. Are you kidding me? Some single woman hires a lumberjack to come chop wood in her yard and build outhouses, and then she gets to date him. Then he wines and dines her. Like I don't know. Yeah, brawny paper towel guy. And I gotta find to see what the Mike's Hard Lemonade guy looks like. But I think Mike's Hard Lemonade also has a lumberjack. I don't think that's what she had in mind. But how could she? She was already on WhatsApp, like talking to someone. Be careful when somebody comes to you and they say they want to open the marriage. You're the one getting caught off guard. They already know who they want to go to, but don't be surprised if there's a clapback for doing so. This guy's crazy, hilarious. It's funny, but not funny. He really wanted to work things out with his wife, and she's like, let's open the marriage and bring somebody else in. He's like, okay, I got you. I can do that. So his love life is going well. He's like, fine, I got dates. I'm chopping wood. I'm getting strong, you know. But my wife learned that the man on WhatsApp was just scamming her for gift cards. And after sending him over $1,000, he blocked her. No, wait a minute. She opened up her marriage to some guy that she was sending money to. What are we doing out here? What is going on? What are we doing out here? Like, you're married, you got a man, you got a lumberjack at home that chops wood, and you're going out. You're that bored that you're on WhatsApp. And, you know, I'm not judging about the whole open marriage thing. I'm sure maybe it works for some people. But I feel that as our relationships get boring, that this is what we turn to. And a lot of men and women turn to this behavior or this type of living, and they don't know what they're getting into. You don't understand what you're getting into. This is a hot mess already. Okay. So then he blocked her. And if you got a husband at home, why do you have a man that you're talking to on WhatsApp and you're sending money to? It doesn't make sense. Oh, okay. So she now wants to close our marriage again, but I don't want to give up my now advertising for my business or the attention I'm getting, so I told her no. Well, why would he? He's a man. And you said, no, you can be married to me and have the benefits of being married while you still go out and you act like you're single. So you get all the benefits, you get to build a home, save money, and then, you know what, you just go out and you do what you did when you were a bachelor, what guy is gonna say, no, I'll go back. I'll go back to do what I was doing before? Because I'm sure this is probably gonna end in divorce, but how can you ask for divorce? You ask for the open marriage. He's not asking for a divorce, but if he falls in love with somebody, he will ask for a divorce. He's probably really hurt too, because I think when you are going and you are asking and the other person to open up the marriage, I'm sure they're shocked. Be sure of this. Like, you think like you got this because you already emotionally vested in somebody else when you're asking that question, but that your wife or your husband that you are asking that question to, they are deeply hurt and they probably won't let you forget it. Oh, I don't want to divorce my wife. What did I say? But I don't want to give up my new life. She gave him the best of both worlds. She said, let's be married and open up the marriage. And by the way, it wasn't hot and heavy with her, right? Things were cold in the bedroom because she was sending thousands of dollars to some guy that was scamming her on WhatsApp, and probably texting her and telling her how much he was in love with her, and whispering sweet nothings on her phone, because not in her ear, or maybe he was calling her, whispering sweet nothings in her ear. All the excitement she had when she first met her husband, but then decided to get married and change her lifestyle so that they can build a life together. But no, that wasn't good. That wasn't good enough. Okay, for context, I should have specified I don't build things for women for free in exchange for dates. I give them anywhere between a 10 to 20% discount, sometimes 30. So he's not building it for free and he's still getting a date. Look, I'm sorry, but this, and I didn't know this is what we were going to be reading, but this man made his wife look like a fool. And he's like, no, I like my lifestyle. Like, why would I divorce you now? And I gotta pay you alimony and child or whatever. They don't have kids, but I gotta pay you. I'm gonna have to pay you alimony. But for what reason? Like, well, you opened up the marriage. And by the way, I went out. I got dates. I got paid to go on dates. You went out. You paid and got scammed. I don't know. Wow. Oh my gosh. Someone says crazy that you've only been married for 6 months and you're already talking about the early part. That's what I said. I was like, the early part of the marriage? Like, I don't understand this. Everyone knows that if a woman asks for an open relationship, it means open for her, not for him. Someone says divorce, brother. This is the only way after reading this, but I really don't want to give her half of what my company is worth, he says. Exactly. It's too late. He's like, why would I divorce her now? I have the best of both worlds. I don't want to give her half my company. I'm making all this money. I don't want to give her half my company. Someone says this is a fake story. Well, whether or not it's fake, like, I literally saw another story like this, and I know that there's a subreddit in here where the men ask women for, where people are asking for open relationships. Let me see. Let me see if I can find it. This is on the relationship advice thing, open relationship. Here's another woman who asked her husband for an open relationship and now regrets it. And her husband doesn't want to close it. Why? Like, ladies, why are we doing this? Why? What is it? Like, she was bored. She says, so basically our relationship was good and we still loved each other very much, but things had started to feel a bit stale. I had read online that opening up your relationship can bring some more life into it. He was a bit hesitant at first, but agreed after we set down some rules. The rules were that we didn't want each other ever seeing people we both know, such as mutual friends. We didn't need to tell each other about random hookups, and we did need to tell each other if we started seeing someone beyond just hookups. Nothing really happened for the first month, but then I started hooking up with this guy on dating apps, and a few weeks later, my husband started having a few hookups every now and then. After 2 months, I met this guy at work and we hit it off. He showed interest and I told him I was in an open marriage. He didn't mind and we started dating. For about a year, this went on and my husband only had hookups. Then he told me he started seeing someone and I was excited for him and asked some questions, basically asking where he met them and if she was cute. He was a bit awkward around the question, but answered them saying they had met at a club and that he found them very cute. This again went on for about 2 years. My husband had met my partner Jake and got on very well. I still had never met, I think her name was Max, and had seen very few pictures of her, but my husband seemed happy. One of the things that first pushed me to consider an open relationship is that I'm pretty kinky and my husband was strictly vanilla. He was willing to do some things for me, but not much, which I respected, which is why it surprised me when I found a box of kinky things such as outfits and toys that were not mine. I brought it up with him and he seemed embarrassed and told me that he had gotten them for Max. I asked if we could do some more kinky things in the bedroom. He said sure, but when we did it, he didn't seem too into it. Well, about a month ago, her boyfriend Jake told her that she had to move out of the country, that he had to move out of the country. He said he didn't think he could handle a long distance relationship, and while he loved me, he wanted to break up for now. I was in pieces, and my husband comforted me through it. Jake left the country yesterday. Today I sat down with my husband and told him I want to close the relationship. Like, how does this work? You open up your relationship, you fall in love with somebody else, and then as long as they're there, then that's okay. And then when they're gone, then you want to be back in your monogamous relationship. He explained that he really liked being with Max and he doesn't want to end things. I didn't really understand because he doesn't talk much about her or bring her around, so I didn't think it was that serious. I told him again that I wanted it to be just us and that if he continues to see anyone else after this point, I would now consider it cheating. Well, how is she gonna, listen, you opened up the marriage. You had to get consensus to open up the marriage. Now you need consensus to close it. You don't just get to switch up and demand that now because your boyfriend left and your husband still has a girlfriend, that it's now cheating if he doesn't close the marriage because you requested it. No, it's not. She said she told him to get out and he grabbed some clothes and left. I thought he would stay at a friend's house, but have found out after calling them that he's probably with Max. And I'm just so upset. I don't know what to do. How do I convince him this is the best for us? Someone says if Jake was around, you would still want the open relationship. Now that he's gone, things look good for your hubby, but not for you. Let's just face the facts that you are very self-centered and this has backfired on you. Hopefully he leaves this marriage. Listen, it will backfire. It will backfire, inevitably. Because to open up the marriage and not call it cheating, you had to open up the marriage. You had to get consensus. And then now you just want to decide unilaterally to close the marriage. You cannot. You cannot. You need consensus on both parts. And it's not like you're closing it off because you've had a discussion. You've been talking about it. No, your boyfriend left and then now your husband still has a girlfriend, but you're telling him, oh, so because my boyfriend's gone, you can no longer have a girlfriend. It's not going to work out. Ladies, be careful out there. Someone says it's only best for you now because you lost your guy. Open marriages rarely work. You're being very selfish. Just go your separate ways. Someone says FAFO. Choices meet when choices meet consequences. Plot twist. Husband is planning on leaving you to be with Max in a committed relationship. Exactly. He didn't want to be in this open relationship, but when you opened it up, see, this is the problem, because when you ask the other person that doesn't want to be in a committed relationship and they eventually agree, be sure they are hurt. A lot of times they are hurt, especially if they've been pushed into it. And now what will happen is that they will go along with it because now you've given them the space to plan their exit with you. Honestly. Yep. Honestly, her husband clearly never wanted an open relationship, and she definitely pressed him into it with how self-centered she is. I don't know if she's self-centered or she just wanted an open relationship, whatever it is, but you got married. If you wanted to F around, then you should have kept effing around. Why did you get married? Don't do it. And I'm not talking about cultures where men have multiple wives and things like that, because I don't have to agree or disagree. But what it is that culturally that can be different. And somebody dropped me a comment, because I don't know anything about that. I don't know a lot about that, but it doesn't sound like this. This is different. This is where we are romanticizing the idea of an open relationship as if there's something, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. And when you didn't start off your marriage being in an open relationship, you didn't start off your relationship being in an open relationship and then get married. You are in a closed relationship, opening it up because now you've met and emotionally attached to somebody else. And then when you are if you become unattached to that person, or your person becomes attached to someone else, what do you think is going to happen when they didn't want an open relationship? They're going to find someone that wants to be in that closed relationship. They're going to take their time, find somebody to fall in love with, and you're going to F around and find out. That's what's going to happen. There are multiple stories like this. Someone asked the question, couples in open relationships, how is it? In retrospect, it was terrible. For me, we were in an open relationship because we didn't really love each other enough. It's pretty hard to stay with your life partner when you do taxes with them. It was fun, but empty. I ended up leaving her to be with someone I actually do love deeply. I couldn't imagine effing other people now. I honestly wouldn't want that. Just my experience. I lived that and would never go back. Exactly. So he said that the only reason he agreed to the open relationship in the first place was because he wasn't really in love with the person that he was with. So then he went and found somebody else. You guys do you. It just seems this is something experimental that sometimes it happens before your 40s, but I think as you're getting close to your 40s, like people are starting to want to maybe are reading things online. Stop reading the crap online. These relationships rarely work. And if somebody has something different to say about that, please drop it in the comments. I don't think I have anything much else left to say. All right, so not much else to say. Drop me a comment, subscribe, and I don't know, y'all do your thing. I'm gonna do mine. Open relationships, not happening here, but you guys do you, and be careful out there. All right, I'll see you in the next one. Hit that subscribe button, drop me a heart, show me some love, because I'm here showing you some love. But I want you guys to really be careful out there.